Many of us are aware that maida is not good for our health, but many of us are not aware which all foodstuffs which we routinely consume has hidden maida in it. In today's video, we'll discuss about why maida is bad for our health, how it causes the health damages in the short as well as long run, what are the foods which has maida in it as a hidden component and how to avoid them, and what are the alternatives for maida, healthier alternatives. So if I can give you an example, if we consider our body as a bank and maida as a loan, then maida should be a very bad loan. Why am I saying so? Because when the loan gets credited into our account, we are very happy in the short run because money has been credited in our account. But in the long run, when we have to pay up the EMI along with the interest, the financial burden it creates on us becomes unbearable. So likewise, maida looks very shiny, very attractive, and the foodstuffs that we make with maida also are tasty and crunchy, and we like to have those stuffs quite frequently. But those foodstuffs which are made with maida ruins our health both in the short term as well as long term. So what is maida basically? The maida is made of wheat, and wheat, as all of us know, the whole wheat actually has three components: the outer bran, middle germ, and inner endosperm layer. So that bran and germ layer has fiber, has various minerals, vitamins, and nutrients, while the endosperm layer, has only carbohydrate or starch. So maida is made from the wheat kernel. When they polish and the outer bran as well as germ layer gets destroyed in the polishing, what remains is only the inner endosperm layer, which is full of carbohydrate or starch. In the polishing process or milling process, all the good stuffs of wheat like fiber, nutrients, vitamins, minerals are lost. So what is left is only pure carbohydrate. So that's why the consumption of maida is associated with various health consequences, and predominantly bad health consequences. So consumption of maida increases your blood sugar. In fact, we do not tend to recognize, but lots of diabetic that they tell me as a doctor that I do not take any sweets, but still my sugar increases. Sugar is not under control. One of the reason is they take maida knowingly or unknowingly, and maida increases your sugar significantly because it has very high glycemic index and there is no fiber. And since there is no fiber in maida, it is not good for your gut health also. It tend to develop constipation, indigestion, and bloating. So many patients come to us telling they tend to have always acidity, gas, and bloating sensation, especially after the consumption of fried foods like samosa, pakoda, kachori, and especially those foods which are made of maida. What they don't tend to understand is because of the refined maida which is causing their gut issue, and they keep on taking gas medicines thinking they're suffering from gas. So one of the reason behind your dyspepsia or bloating or gas problem persistently is a chronic maida consumption in your diet. Likewise, we tend to have a big belly as a society, and one of the reason behind big belly is consumption of maida in our diet. Because consumption of maida, since maida doesn't have fiber, it raises the blood sugar, and since it raises the blood sugar, the insulin also rises in our body, and insulin stores all the sugar as a fat, especially in the belly. So belly fat is one of the consequences. Likewise, heart disease risk also increases exponentially those who consume maida chronically, because maida consumption increases your triglyceride level as well as the bad cholesterol level, and elevated triglyceride and bad cholesterol causes heart disease. Not only that, heart disease or weight gain or digestive issues or blood sugar spikes, maida also causes inflammation, and this inflammation can be manifested in various ways, like some of us tend to get pimples or acne, and this acne flare up, one of the reason is consumption of maida predominantly in our diet. Likewise, arthritis flare and other inflammatory conditions are also responsible when we consume maida on a regular basis. And frequent consumption of maida on a daily basis also causes blood sugar fluctuation, and this blood sugar fluctuation causes craving, causes hunger, frequent hunger, and easy fatigability. So these are all the downsides of chronic maida consumption in our diet. So maida is, suffice enough to say, it's empty calories, but they have a lot of health risk. So now that we know what are the bad effects of consuming maida on a chronic basis, which all foodstuffs are there which has maida in it? So maida is there almost ubiquitously, especially the foodstuffs which you consume outside in a restaurant or a roadside shop, and even at home also, right from your breakfast options, the things which you consume along with our morning tea or our snack, or even those foodstuffs which you consume in our lunch and dinner also has maida in it. So among them are Indian breads, especially naan, kulcha, bhatura or luchi. All these things are made with maida. So those things we need to avoid at all cost. Likewise, various namkeens, papads, namkeens, bhujiyas, chips, samosas, kachoris, deep fried items. These are very crispy and tasty, but they are full of maida and bad oil. So it needs to be avoided. Once in a while it is okay, but chronic regular consumption are to be avoided altogether. Likewise, bakery items like cakes and pastries and donuts also are made with maida predominantly, along with the refined sugar. And few stuffs like instant stuffs which we like quite a lot, like pasta, noodles, momos and pizzas. And pizza base basically is made of maida predominantly. So all those stuffs also are basically loaded with maida, and we need to be aware of that they are made of maida and need to avoid it on a routine basis. And even the morning breakfast that we take with our tea, almost all of us are fond of taking biscuits or breads along with our morning tea, and these biscuits are made of maida, refined flour, maida and sugar. So few of my patients who tell that they do not consume maida, but on questioning they tell that they are taking biscuits every day or white bread every day, and these biscuits and white bread are actually loaded with maida. So if you are a diabetic, you need to avoid them, and even if you are not a diabetic, still you need to avoid them. Likewise, pav also is, in bhaji pav, the pav is also loaded with maida. Recently I read an article where they had noted that Indian cricketer Rohit Sharma, he has recently lost weight. He was fond of taking bhaji pav frequently. So once he had stopped taking bhaji pav, he had lost the weight significantly. Obviously, his exercise also is important, but what I'm going to suggest is that diet plays a very, very important role, and you should know what diet you are taking so that you can take an informed choice. And likewise, some of us take rusk along with our morning tea. We tend to think the rusk is healthy, but at the same time, rusk is also full of maida and sugar. So all those things you need to avoid it altogether, or even if you want to take it very occasionally, but do not consume them on a regular basis, because very frequently those stuffs what I have discussed just now, like biscuits or bread or rusk, all those things are taken actually every day in the morning as well as in the evening with our morning and evening tea. So you need to be aware of the risk and need to avoid them on a consistent basis. So if all these foodstuffs made with maida are not good, then what all foodstuffs are to be taken, or what are the alternatives to maida? So alternatives to maida are quite a lot, in fact. So this could be foodstuffs which are made with whole wheat or whole atta, or better than atta would be other stuffs like millets, ragi, jowar or bajra or quinoa or it could be oats like still cut oats or rolled oats. It could be rajgira, or it could be almond flour or coconut flour. So there are various healthy options, and these options are not only healthy, they are tasty also. So you just need to have an outlook that not all the healthy options are not having taste. In fact, healthy options are also tasty as well. So come out of this notion that unhealthy things are only tasty. In fact, healthy things also could be tasty. In fact, if you love your noodles, if you love your pasta, if you love your pizza, even love your momos, you can swap those things from an wheat based or maida based options to a healthier options like quinoa based options or millet based options, because all those things like pizza, momos, noodles, all these things could be made with healthier options like millet, ragi, bajra and quinoa. These are not only healthy, these are tasty as well. So these healthy options, if you can swap from the maida, it gives you a very beneficial effect on your health. Like you get a sustained energy throughout the day since you do not have a significant sugar spike. So it will give you a sustained energy throughout the day. You'll feel more energized to work. It gives you a good bowel habit. You do not have constipation. You do not have bloating sensation. Your weight remains normal. Your heart health gets better because your triglyceride comes down. Your fatty liver comes down significantly, as well as your inflammation reduces. And these also are not only healthy, they are tasty as well. They have a good taste as well as good aroma. So if you make these small changes in your diet, you can have a significant health impact. So what are the ways you can swap or reduce maida intake? What are the practical tips? So whenever you are shopping, you need to see the packet, and the packet, if it mentions the refined flour, it basically means it's made with maida. So avoid those things which are made with refined flour. Try to avoid outside eating or restaurant eating as much as possible. Outside eating should be minimized as much as possible. Try to make food at home and try to use healthier options. Rather than using maida, try to use healthier options like millet, like rajgira, like ragi, jowar, bajra and all those stuffs, even oats as well. So if you follow all those things, your health will improve significantly. So you might as well say that all those options that we have discussed till now, these are costly. So how can I afford that? Well, this might be a bit costlier than the less costly option of maida, because maida is refined and maida has its own health hazards, as we have discussed. But think of that in that way, that when you chronically consume that less expensive maida, the health impact that it creates in you, it causes lots of health problem, like right from your GI problem, your constipation, your gas sensation, your bloating, your acne formation, your arthritis, your blood sugar control gets haywire, your blood pressure rises, you tend to get fatty liver, and your energy levels are down, you tend to get fatigue always. So all those health problems you tend to face. And not only that, to counter those health problems, you visit a doctor, you end up taking various medications, you end up doing various tests, and in the long run, if you get sick, you tend to get hospitalized and tend to spend quite a lot in your medical bill. So in the short run, although maida is inexpensive, but in the long run, if you invest in your health, invest in healthier options, ultimately it will not only improve your health, but it will be good for your finances also. Ultimately, health is yours, choice is also yours. So it's not that you cannot take your biscuits, you cannot take your pizza, or cannot take your momo. You can take, but if it is made with maida, try to avoid as much as possible. Make it a very occasional treat, if at all. Do not consume it on a regular basis. And even if you want to consume it on a regular basis, swap those options which is made with maida to an healthier options like millet based option, quinoa based option, rajgira based options, because these are available. Suppose you want to take biscuits on a regular basis, rather than taking a regular biscuits which is made of maida and refined sugar, take biscuits. Nowadays biscuits are available which are made with ragi or bajra or jowar or quinoa, and these are not made with refined sugars also. So these are healthier option, although it might be a bit costlier, but ultimately in the long run it will help you both physically, health wise, as well as financially, because ultimately it's your health and you have to take the informed decision. So if you like our video, kindly share the video, and especially share to somebody who says that he doesn't take maida but he keeps on taking maida which is hidden in his foodstuffs all throughout the day. And thank you all for your patient hearing.